Hey, what is up guys? So unfortunately it's too cold outside today to do any filming outdoors. It was like -5 out. I actually went to the car wash earlier, but everything was frozen. I put the coins in and the machine didn't actually turn on. And then upon further inspection, I looked inside and all my quarters were frozen inside the machine. And they were just down deep enough in there where I couldn't reach in and pull them out. So yeah, that was really annoying. So today I thought I'd just do a little quick indoor video here. 5 things that every BMW owner should keep in their car at all times. So yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, so the first thing that you need to keep in your BMW at all times, whether you're doing either a DIY or some kind of emergency roadside repair, is a torque wrench, one of these. So the reason that you need to use one of these anytime that you're working on your car is because every little nut and bolt on the whole car has a really specific torque setting that tells you how tight things need to be. And a quick Google search on any part of the car, you should be able to find pretty easily what the torque setting is for that exact part. But yeah, anyway, the way that this works is you'll see a little thing here that measures either pound-feet, or on the other side there's Newton meters, and then you just set this however many pound-feet that it requires. And then as you're tightening, once you reach that torque specification, this will just click and it won't actually allow you to tighten it any further. So this is always really good to have. This will prevent you from either stripping your hardware or damaging it. If you tighten something too much, like beyond the torque spec, you can actually damage the threads or potentially even break a bolt. In some cases, the hardware on the BMWs is made out of aluminum, which is a softer metal. And then also, if you don't tighten it enough, it'll just be loose and the part will eventually rattle itself, and that's not good either. So it's always good to use a torque wrench, even if you're doing some kind of little emergency repair on the side of the road. This is just a good thing to have. You might also notice that the actual length of the handle itself is like twice the length of a normal socket wrench handle. So even that alone just gives you a little bit more torque as you're working on your car. So yeah, always good to keep in your trunk at all times. So the next thing that you're going to want to keep in your BMW, if you have the locking BMW wheel studs, is of course your key. You're going to obviously need that if you ever need to take the wheel off or change a tire or anything like that. And I just want to share with you a little pro tip that I learned last week after a shop lost my key. I had to go to the BMW dealership to get a new one. The one that I needed just happened to be out of stock, so I had to make a second trip up there, and it was just a big headache. But if you look on the top of the key, there's actually a little code engraved on the top, and you're going to want to write that number down somewhere safe. Make a note in your phone or something. That way, if you ever lose one of these, it makes it really easy to just go online and order a new one as long as you have that code. And honestly, it might not even be a bad idea to just order a spare one of these just in case you lose it. That way you can keep one in your car and one in your house or something like that. These do get lost, and in my case the shop lost it, so it wasn't even my fault. So yeah, it might be a good idea to just have 2 of these just in case. And also, if you're keeping this in your car, you might not want to keep it in a really obvious place like your glove box, because obviously if someone breaks in, they'll have the ability to steal your wheels, which that kind of defeats the whole point of having this. So I kind of hide mine inside the car where it's not really obvious for people to find it. So the next thing to keep in your car is just some general tools. So in the past few years of working on my car, I found that having metric sockets size 6mm through 23 is a pretty good range. That'll get you through most DIY projects on the car. Also, having some metric open-ended wrenches is really helpful too. Another thing that I noticed quite a bit is the T20 torque screwdriver. I've had to use this quite a few times in different DIY projects. And then just recently, this E12 torque socket I had to use when I was doing the suspension on the car. So those are just a few things. The main thing is just that metric socket set that will get you through most projects and most emergency situations out on the road. As far as spare parts go, it's not a bad idea to keep an extra ignition coil in your car at all times. So if you own either an E90 or an E92 or basically any BMW from that generation, you've probably already experienced coil pack failure at some point. It's probably the single most common issue that these cars have. They kind of just go bad randomly and you don't really know when to expect it, so not a bad idea to keep an extra one. And just a tip with the coil packs, if you do order these from fcpeuro.com, of course they do come with that lifetime warranty, so that's always good. And then the nice thing about keeping one of these as a spare is they're really small, they don't really take up a lot of space. It's really not that expensive if you only have to buy one as a spare, so just keep one of these in your trunk and you should be good to go. Now if one fails, it's not necessarily going to leave you stranded on the side of the road, but it does make the engine run like complete crap if one of the cylinders isn't firing. So if you were on a long road trip or something, you really wouldn't want to be driving like 300 miles or something with a bad coil pack. So just having one in your car at all times, and like I said, if you have all those other tools that I mentioned earlier in the video, the torque wrench, the metric sockets, it should take you no more than 15 minutes if you're only replacing one of these. So just keep one in your trunk just in case and you'll be all set. So the last thing that I keep in my car is of course the Carley for BMW Adapter. Now this is kind of like the pocket knife for BMW software. You can diagnose and check engine light. You can set up digital gauges for things that the car is constantly monitoring but not always surfacing to you. Things like battery voltage, coolant temperature, water pump speed. You can configure up to 6 different gauges that you can monitor in real time. That's really helpful. I don't always keep mine running, but occasionally I'll plug it in just to kind of monitor the health of the overall engine and how everything's working. It's just really nice to have that. You can also do some basic coding. I've done videos on BMW coding with the Carley Adapter, so that's really handy to have. And there are more sophisticated diagnostic tools out there for BMWs, but the reason that I like the Carley one so much is it's just so easy to use. You don't need to plug in a laptop or anything like that. It's just very small, fits in your glove box and just connects to an app on your phone. It's just so simple. You don't really have to be like a master with BMW coding or any of that stuff. It's just very simple to use and set up. So yeah, I always keep mine in the car. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Please just give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and by all means leave a comment down below if you have any other tools or any other items that you would add to this emergency BMW toolkit, things that you would keep in your BMW at all times. I'm really interested to know that, so just leave a comment down below. And all the products that I talked about in the video will be linked down below in the description if you want to check these out for yourself. Maybe you want to pick some of these up just to keep in your car. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.